Hello. Well, it was with great sadness that this week New Zealand lost 3 very brave soldiers in Afghanistan. I was informed early on Sunday evening that an IED bomb had exploded and claimed the lives of 3 brave soldiers who were part of a 4 Humvee contingent that were travelling from one of our bases, Doabe, in the northeast part of Bamiyan province, that was travelling up to Ramiro to undertake some medical help for one of our people who was based in Doabe. This brings to 10 the number of New Zealand soldiers that have lost their lives in Afghanistan since 2010. Each one of them have been very brave, courageous individuals who have worked hard to make a difference not only in Bamiyan itself and in Afghanistan overall, but have done their very best to ensure that the world is a safer place for fellow New Zealanders as we travel around the world. I know all of us will want to send our condolences and sympathies to the families. Let me say this, that I think this has been a very difficult campaign for everyone involved, a very difficult environment. But I genuinely believe that the New Zealanders that have been engaged in the PRT since 2003 have made a real difference to that province. We now see about half of all school children that go to school in Bamiyan province are girls. A new education university has been developed along with the Kiwis. There are 2,700 people attending that multi-faculty university, of which 15% are girls. We're seeing the mortality rate dramatically falling, and again seeing much greater healthcare provisions for the people of Bamiyan. So our people over the course of the last 9 years have made a substantial difference, but it's come at a tremendous cost, and we mourn the loss of those 10 very brave soldiers. In terms of other activity, the government continues to work very hard on a number of its programs. This week we announced yet another one of our business growth agenda programs. And just to give you an idea about that, this report is really looking at how we can encourage growth and competitiveness for our economy and for our businesses, and it focuses on areas like access to markets, innovation, skills, the capital markets, infrastructure and resources. As part of it, we announced that the new Advanced Technological Institute, the ATI, would be named after the late Sir Paul Callaghan, and we're very grateful to the Callaghan family for the use of Sir Paul's name. And that will hopefully allow us to continue to work with New Zealand companies, to work alongside them to commercialise the very smart and clever ideas they have. We are in the process of rolling out 6 of these reports. The first of them was called Building Export Markets, and it came with a goal of lifting New Zealand's exports from 30% of GDP to 40% of GDP. This most recent report, Building Innovation, outlines about 50 policies overall, but one of the ones we'd like to see as a target is to raise the overall R&D spend in New Zealand from 0.54%, so about 0.5% of GDP, to over 1% of GDP, and the amount of government R&D to move from 0.6% to 0.8%. So, look, I think these are important parts of important initiatives and part of the government's economic program to try and lift our performance, lift our competitiveness, make sure that New Zealand is producing jobs and opportunities at the highest level. We also today announced the action plan for vulnerable children, and that includes some of the things that you'll have heard us talking about before: reducing the incidence of rheumatic fever by 2/3 by 2017, increasing the infant immunisation rates to achieve and maintain 95% of coverage of 8-month-olds fully immunised with the scheduled vaccinations by 2017, increasing the participation rate for early childhood education to over 98% by 2017, and halting the 10-year rise in children experiencing physical abuse and reduce the current numbers by 5%. So these are all very important initiatives, and they match the implementation this week of some other initiatives we have in the welfare area. As you're aware, as a government, we're very much focusing on welfare reform. Around 12 to 13% of the New Zealand working age population are currently on a benefit. We think that's not delivering the best outcomes for those people. It's very expensive, and they are at a significant disadvantage, being in some cases trapped on welfare, and so we'll be investing very heavily to make sure that we can allow people to transition where possible from welfare to work, and that will make a substantial financial difference for their family, and I think also for people that are locked out of the workforce but would like an opportunity to participate. It's very important to try and give them those opportunities. They have much greater self-esteem, much greater opportunity for to exercise their own personal freedoms, and much greater flexibility in their lives, and I think all of us want that. So they're part of the overall welfare reform packages that we're rolling out. Particular focus this week has been on those young 16 or 17-year-old girls that are going on the DPB, and again wrapping around a lot of different things there, from making sure that their rent and food and the likes is paid, making sure that they have less disposable income in their hands, so that their core requirements as it relates to looking after their children, for instance, are taken care of up front. And I think that's very important in terms of, say, housing and electricity and the likes. So it's been a sad week for the government and for New Zealand, but also we continue with our busy agenda. Next week I'll be off to the Pacific Islands Forum in Rarotonga. We've been chairing the Pacific Forum for this year, the 2011-12 period. And you may remember we hosted that just before the Rugby World Cup last year, and I'm looking forward to going off to the Cook Islands to meet with leaders from around the Pacific and to have an opportunity to talk to them about the issues that matter.